Michelle here with My Designs in the Chaos, where it's always my goal to develop, encourage, and grow your crafting talents and confidence. And I am live today with day number 26 in our Daily Dose of Design series. So I'm having so much fun sharing all kinds of valuable information with you. And I have gotten some great feedback so far from you guys that you are loving this series. So I hope that you are enjoying it and getting lots of valuable information as you are learning how to design and create your own SVG files. If you're loving this series and would like more hands-on practice, I do want to let you know that we do have a class called 123 SVG that will be opening at the end of April that we would love for you to join us inside of so that you can get more hands-on practice. Hey, Diane, I'm so glad that you are here with me today. If you guys have a question, I would love it that if you send it over, there's an email scrolling across the bottom of your screen, info@mydesignsinthechaos.com. Send over your question and maybe yours will be featured on one of these episodes of the Daily Dose of Design. Today's question comes from one of our community members. She sent in an email and she said, I bought this font that says it has all these extras in it. It has all these extra little swishes and swirls and glyphs and cute doodles and things like that, but I cannot find them. Where and how do I access the extras that come in the font that I bought? And I thought that this was a really great question. Leave me a comment below if you've ever had this happen to you, where you're like, where is all that stuff? It said that I get these cute stars and these cute happy faces and these swishes and all these awesome things. And here I have my font and I can't figure out where any of that stuff is. I'm trying to type it in and I can't find any of it. And so, and yes, to answer those questions, you can absolutely look back at every single episode from the Daily Dose of Design. We have them on our Facebook page under videos. We have them on our YouTube channel. You can put your email into the link up above or below, depending on which platform you're watching on, and you can get every single one of them in your inbox if you would like them that way as well. So lots of options and ways to be able to review each of the Daily Dose of Designs because they are open and accessible for you to be able to watch. So again, our question for today is, how do we access all of these extras that come in a font? So let me know in the comments if you've ever had that happen to you, where you've downloaded a font because it looked like it had all this really cool stuff, and then you get it in your software and you're like, where is everything? How do I use all of that cute stuff? Well, this is kind of a two-layer question, because the first thing that we need to figure out is how were all of those extras put into that font? That's the first question that we have to answer. Then the second question we have to answer is, well, what software is it that we're trying to use in order to be able to access some of these items? So I'm going to kind of give you, in order to answer the first one is, where are all these things? There's three different ways that font designers can actually add these extras into their font. So step number one is we've got to figure out, how did the font designer add these extras into the font? And so let me tell you what those three different ways are. The first way that they can go about doing this is by creating an entirely separate font. So it could be that you have something, and an example that I can think of off the top of my head would be like the font Garlic Butter. They have Garlic Butter. Missy Meyer does an amazing job creating the cutest fonts. And then, so she'll have her font Garlic Butter. She does the same thing with like her other font, Zuki Squash. And you use that one with all the letters and things like that. But then she has an entirely separate font called Garlic Butter Doodads that is just a font made up of different pictures and images and graphics and things like that. So that's the first way that a font can have some of this information. It can be an entirely separate font in the download that has those items. So when you go to select your font, you're not actually selecting garlic butter, you're selecting garlic butter doodads in order to be able to access each one of those little extras. So that's option number one, is it could be an entirely separate font. And again, you've got to determine which one of these three the designer did in order to be able to figure out how you can access it. So that's step number one, is it could be a totally separate font in the download with all of these cute alternatives and things like that. So the second way that it could be created is they could actually be just different characters on your keyboard. Meaning, like instead of typing in the question mark, if you type in the question mark comes up as a heart. Or instead of typing the star, instead of a star, it comes up as a cute little squiggle. And so it could be that it's just different characters on your keyboard. So all of the letters are the same, all the numbers are the same. So that part of the font looks okay. But then when you go to make your parentheses or you go to make brackets or things like that, those brackets then, instead of it being a bracket, it could look like a beautiful glyph, or it could look like a ligature or something like that. And so there's lots of different ways that you could do that, but that's the second way that the font could be created. So again, the first one, it could be an entirely separate font. Second one, it could just be different characters on your keyboard. And then the third way is it's actually programmed in as a separate glyph. Now, if this is the case, if it's programmed in as an entirely separate glyph, you're going to need either a character map, or if you're on a Mac, something like Font Book, to be able to see what those are and then copy and paste them into your program. Now, if you're using Adobe Illustrator, they have a really easy way to be able to do this. There's a menu option that says Glyphs, and they all show up right there in your software. You can copy and paste and put them in there. If you're using something like Inkscape, you're going to need to use a different program, again, like your character map on your computer or Font Book, and you're going to have to copy and paste directly from there. But those are the three different ways that these extras can be typically added into a font. And so before you can access whatever the extra is, you've got to first figure out, how is this extra put into the font? Number one, is it a totally separate font? Number two, is it just different characters on the keyboard? Or number three, is it an actual glyph that you're going to need a program like your character map or Font Book to copy and paste from, rather than just using your keyboard? And so those three tips should help you identify which way you need to go in order to be able to access some of those characters that are in those super cute fonts that you see downloaded and that are all over the place online. So hopefully that is helpful for you. And then again, once you've determined one of those, that will determine your next steps on how to go about accessing them and adding them into your software. But first, determine which one of those three it is. So that is our daily dose of design lesson for today, for episode number 26. Again, if you have a question you would like to be featured in, info@mydesignsandthechaos.com is the best place to send over your question. If you would like to view previous episodes, feel free to add in your email to the Daily Dose of Design, either in the description above or below, depending on which platform you're on, or you can go view them on our Facebook page in the video archive or on our YouTube channel. And then I will see you guys back tomorrow with episode number 27. Okay, y'all, have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.